Hey everybody, this is Pat Collins, aka the Big PH, and I've been on hiatus for a while. Uh, my match with the Invisible Man, it took a lot out of me. I broke my neck in 3 different places, and uh, my back, I threw it out. I was like this. Oh, I was all bent up for a little while, but I am back, and I'm ready to get back to work. So, hey, how about we start off with a review for August 19th, 2013. We open up the show with John Cena, and after his really good match with Daniel Bryan last night, which I thought was the match of the night and a match of the year candidate for sure, and with on the same card as CM Punk and Brock Lesnar, saying that that was the match of the night is I think is really saying something. But he comes out and to tell the WWE audience that he's leaving for 4 to 6 months. Now, I think this is a great thing, not only for John Cena so he can recover a little bit because he's always working way too hard, but for us uh, because we need a break from Cena every now and again. We just need a break from Cena. So he gets his break, we get our break, um, and he introduces Daniel Bryan. Uh, and he's basically when he introduces Daniel Bryan, he's basically saying you got 6 months, kid, to make it or break it. You can either let God and the McMahons steamroll you, or you can rise above it and become the face of the company. And if tonight's any indication, yeah, it's going to be a long 6 months for Daniel Bryan. So when Daniel Bryan and Stephanie McMahon have their confrontation in the ring, uh, I'm just hoping that this isn't the start of a complete and total Daniel Bryan burial. Um, I could understand setting up a story. I can understand trying to clearly establish characters and having Stephanie as just the loving wife that's completely supportive of her husband makes sense. Um, I just hope this isn't a 6 month, reign until WrestleMania where, Daniel Bryan gets buried again, and another getting buried another time is not going to help his character, especially when he's on top. It could destroy his character. Who knows? Sometimes the WWE audience is very fickle. Uh, but this was a decent confrontation. I thought they had some decent banner. I particularly liked it when Stephanie McMahon told Daniel Bryan he wasn't an A, but he was a B plus, a solid B plus, and Daniel Bryan was like, "Oh, you know what? You're kind of something that starts with the letter B," and the crowd takes it from there. The crowd was a very interesting part for good and for bad this week of Raw, but in the end, after Daniel Bryan slaps the microphone out of her hand and completely disrespects her, calls her trash, and he was really intense about it. At one time I felt like he was almost about to cry, and he gets escorted out of the ring. He says he'll be back, and security takes him out of the building. So Triple H had his hand in a lot of cookie jars this Monday, and I besides just the opening segment and the coronation of Randy Orton, of course, at the end of the show, um, a few of the superstars had to talk out against Triple H. Um, one being Dolph Ziggler, and one being the Big Show. I'll say that the Big Show is looking really good. He's looking really really good. He's super in shape, like 425 now. So I can't wait for his run. But apparently Triple H has some new muscle, and that consists of uh, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, The Shield. So I'm all for the Shield, getting pushed a little bit more again because they were being de-pushed for a second. But Ziggler and Big Show both had 3-on-1 handicap matches. The only difference being that against Big Show, they're all allowed in the ring at the same time. Now, the major thing that happened here is against his match with Ziggler, uh, Seth Rollins took a spill on the over the top rope and looked like he tweaked his leg pretty bad, and it was bothering for the. You could visibly see it was bothering for the rest of the night. So I hope he's okay. Um, Obviously, the Shield wins both matches. They take them both out with the triple power bombs, and you know, good for the Shield. And you know, they're Triple H's new muscle. Speaking of injuries, Del Rio versus Sin Cara, which for what felt like the millionth time, but this one was different, very different. Within 30 seconds of the match, Sin Cara bends his finger back. It looks like he almost breaks it off, and it ends the match. So, Sin Cara, see you in another 3 months. Uh, but the match was basically just to set up Ricardo coming back with RVD. Do I really care? Not particularly, but now I wonder, like, is RVD going to get his entrance in Spanish? Because that would be interesting. Just confuse a whole lot of people. I don't think WWE does things right all the time, especially when it comes to pushing people. I don't think squash matches work. I don't think seeing the same match over and over again really works. The Miz versus Wade Barrett. I've seen it a million times. Sure, setting up a Fandango Miz uh, match, but how many times are we gonna have to see that? And then R-Truth versus um, Bray Wyatt. I'm already getting tired of this match, and it only lasts 40 seconds, and I'm already getting tired of seeing this. And then we have a Divas tag match that was boring and forgettable, um, and it's just a shame. And speaking of low points, the two lowest points and the parts that are really starting to get predictable and boring are Cody Rhodes versus Damian Sandow. Now, this I think was the worst part of the night because this match had just happened the previous night before on SummerSlam. So you're basically WWE's giving the big middle finger, fuck you, to all the people that paid for the pay-per-view just by putting this on free TV the next day. And the people that are seeing it for the first time on free TV are like, "Oh, why do they care?" Because obviously it wasn't that good of a match anyway, even though they had a way better performance on SummerSlam than they did on Raw. Another thing I'm getting really tired of and is Ryback. Ryback, him being a bully. Is this going to be like, oh, is this playing off the whole be a star thing? If it is, then shouldn't someone put him in his place and show the kids that, you know, bullying, you don't succeed when you're a bully? Yeah, maybe that's where it's heading, but right now Ryback's just being an annoying childish dick.
Speaking of continuing from SummerSlam, the Paul Heyman and CM Punk feud is still continuing. It took place throughout the night. Paul Heyman was the first one to come out. He apologized to CM Punk, and he's basically said that it's time to end the feud. That CM Punk should come back to join him and should be a Paul Heyman guy again, and they can go out and win the championship and be the best in the world again. CM Punk comes out and you know, and he's Paul wants an apology. So CM Punk comes out and he says, "Yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't, kill you last night." Uh, uh, and so basically, he tells him to shove it up his ass. And he said he's ready for a fight. And so you know what? Curtis Axel and CM Punk have an unsanctioned street fight, which was an interesting breakup to their usual matches. And it ends. It was a pretty hard hitting match, and it ended with or it wasn't even a match. It was just a fight, and it ended with the go to sleep on the stairs. CM Punk lifted him up, hit him on the stairs, and then he's CM Punk is beat up really bad, but him and Heyman are gonna continue this feud they got going, and it's one of the few decent things. It's decent, and hopefully it doesn't get too stale. Another thing, WWE seems to be investing a lot of time, at least into this Raw and maybe into the continuing months coming up, is the tag team division. Now, a new tag team's coming out, the Matadores, or it's actually an old tag team repackaged. It's Primo and Epico. The primetime players against the Real Americans happen tonight, and where they're finally deciding to take the primetime players and make them baby faces, which I'm guessing has to do with the fact that Darren Young recently came out, and this is where the fans piss me off, because Darren Young comes in and you have a few people audibly chanting "You're a faggot" at Darren Young. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? That's just not what. It's just a dick thing to say. Like, the guy just came out of the closet and you're gonna sit there and just blast him like that. But the crowd ended up turning around. Those few retarded people ended up shutting up or getting the shit kicked out of them, whichever one. and they're over $millions, $millions. So good for the primetime players. The other match, which was actually a hard fought tag team match, a lot of back and forth action, surprisingly, because both of these teams, as the crowd like to say, are both jobbers. But it's a 3-man band. It was Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal against the Usos, and they put on a really good match, a really good tag team match. So I think the tag team division is starting to look up, and hopefully they put some storylines, start mixing some storylines in here, and I think this could be something to really look forward to in the coming months if WWE doesn't drop the ball. And now, finally, for the moment of the night, what some people have been waiting for all night, and I really wanted to see where they went with it, was the coronation of Randall Keith Orton. Uh, and his newest WWE championship. So Triple H comes out and he says there's no love lost between him and Randy Orton, but he did what he had to do for business. Like those, nobody knows what's good for business except for him. Randy Orton comes out and he says to him, Triple H, they haven't always seen eye to eye, but you know what? You got to show Triple H respect. No, you don't. Not, God basically he proved why people call him God nowadays, and the Breakfast Club slash the new corporation is running supreme. Uh, he asked Daniel Bryan, who snuck back into to the arena, to come up to the stage. He says no one's gonna touch him. Shield, beat him down. Beat him down. Daniel Bryan tries to fight, but it's 3 against 1. What can he really do? He tries. The Shield beat him down. They throw him, and then Triple H stops him, tells him to get up, get in the ring, and Randy Orton gives him the RKO as the McMahons, the Helmsleys, and Randall Orton sit above him, gloating that they have destroyed a vegan, a 200-pound bearded vegan. Now, this angle could go a lot of ways. It's interesting, and it could be interesting, but if we're just in it for the next 6 months to watch Daniel Bryan get the shit kicked out of him and buried, 20 feet deep, I'm not interested in it. So overall, I thought it was a decent Raw from SummerSlam. I thought it continued the momentum that was started, and I think that it could be interesting what they're doing with Daniel Bryan, or it could be a total burial. It could just be the Breakfast Club just saying, know your place, boy. But I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt to Triple H that he's just trying to work an angle, and hopefully Daniel Bryan will get his revenge and get a really nice title reign out of it. We'll see. The down points, the matches I've seen over and over again, the angles that I've seen over and over again. Some things never change. Squash matches, I don't really care about them. And another bad thing, the injuries. These guys sometimes they go too hard. And you can tell that sometimes they get hurt. But there's a lot of good stuff. Like I did like the Daniel Bryan interaction. I did like that he's getting the underdog hero treatment against the Machine. Daniel Bryan against the Machine. I made a really good, I think me and my buddy made a really funny analogy. I was like, it's like Superman versus the Elite, and he's like, no, it's more like Robin versus the Elite. So does he have any chance of winning in the end? Who knows? But here's to hoping. Here's to hoping that that they keep the momentum going, and that the tag team division, is they keep on continuing to show it off and building it. And I'm really looking forward to next week's Raw. That's pretty much it. That's the Big PH. Like me on Facebook, Patrick Collins. Follow me on Twitter at the Big PH1, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you dig the video, give it a thumbs up. Peace.